Alright, so this is speech number 2. Once again, I appreciate everyone giving me their time. Thanks. So, there are opportunities that present themselves in life that can affect our growth as a person. We can allow them to affect us in a negative aspect or in a positive aspect. Knowing what I know now, I truly believe that the end result is going to be the same. It just chooses which path you want to take. I allowed the influence and death of my father to negatively affect me growing up as a person. My grandfather did teach me great things such as a good work ethic and helping others that are less fortunate. I spent most of my childhood living with him, which allowed his negative sides to influence me. Both his death and influence hindered me growing into a man that was a decent product for my community. My grandfather was one of the hardest working men that I knew. He started working at Sears in the appliance department and decided to go out on his own and start his own appliance repair company. He turned that shop into a multi-million-dollar business where he served the greater Atlanta area. He did not really advertise or network. His business came from word of mouth. He truly believed that if you treated people in the correct manner, it would pay off, and his lifestyle reflected that statement to be true. My grandfather was raised in rural Georgia and really had a hard childhood. That does not allow me to go into too much detail. That time does not allow me to go into too much detail. However, his childhood does explain why he was the man that he became and the type of father he was to my father. Even though he instilled great things such as a good work ethic, he failed in the department of loving care. I never got to experience this side of him and can only base this on what my father and others told me about him. I only had one experience with him that somewhat backed up what people told me about him. My grandfather was a heavy drinker on his days off, and I was oblivious to that as a child. There was an instance when I was hanging out at his house that I injured myself and started crying because I was young. He was not sure how to handle this and proceeded to yell and smack me across my face. I learned that day to keep my emotions intact and keep my emotions intact to myself, which is the incorrect way to handle your feelings. My grandfather decided to take his life after apparently receiving some poor news from a doctor's visit. I did not know this at the time, but apparently that was the norm for my father's side of the family. To this day, one of my father's sisters, to this day, no one other than my father's sisters and their children have died of a natural cause. Other than my father's mother, who died of a misdiagnosed brain cancer. I believe that there are family sins that can go on if not brought to a halt. This is one of those past sins that I have rebuked because I have seen the destruction it can cause on the family. Even though I looked up to my grandfather and also rebuked him as a person for decisions he made, I still allowed him to mold me as a person growing up. His habits that I thought were normal because of my habits, I found this to be normal. His easy way out of things without thinking of other feelings became okay to me. Because of this mentorship, I wasted some years of my life. I'm here to say that we as a society in general are born with the same opportunities. Reaching these opportunities may be easier for some, but allowing a negative path will only hinder your growth as a person. Growing up with that mindset only hindered my mental maturity and kept me from reaching the goals I set for myself. We all have the same ending, and it's up to us to show how we get there.